Lindsay, let's roll the Magic 8 Ball. You want to grab that? It's right behind you. Welcome to Shoot Your Shot, the podcast. Photography based. We answer your questions, hot takes, DMs when you reach out to us through the Shoot Your Shot podcast on Instagram. We start every episode by rolling the Magic 8 Ball with a question that we'd love answered by the mystical magical 8 Ball. Do you have? We're looking for an answer. I guess first, and then we'll Jeopardy this.
You mean a question?
A question.
Let's go with Like what? Who is George Washington?
President.
I am gonna ask a question. I was looking at my spreadsheet this morning.
Okay.
You know, I'm a big fan of the spreadsheet.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, I haven't made as much money on like family type shoots as I usually do at this time of year. My weddings are up. I'm like, I don't know. It's not crazy different, but I definitely...
You see a difference in
I'm noticing a difference. Okay. And I looked at why it was, and I was like, ooh, newborn sessions, because newborn sessions are a high ticket item. And then I was like, I haven't really marketed them. Direct correlation. So the question is, if I try a little bit, can I book some newborn sessions and increase my rev from the fam sessions?
Do we need to even, I mean, the answer is probably yes, but we'll see.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, no,
even the 8 Ball knew.
Come on.
So I'll try a little bit and I'll let you guys know. You guys will see the reels pumping out and all of the newborn posts going out. And if you're on my newsletter, you'll probably see something about that also.
And that's a good lesson for you as well. If you want to book things, just try a little bit harder. You know, just put a tiny bit of effort in, a modicum of effort, more than you've been doing, and you will see results, whether it's inquiries, whether it's direct bookings, whether it's just, you know, people networking and reaching out to you and saying, hey, you're doing a great job. You'll feel better.
And you know what's interesting? Like, I know people really like shit on a spreadsheet because they're like, get a CRM, whatever, right? Like, I love a CRM. Okay. I really love the back end of Focal. That's my website. Yeah. And I like seeing the data that they provide. But when you make your own spreadsheet, you're the one in control of your own metrics. Right. So no one is going to be able like to run a report that you need like you can if you have all of the data that you need and for many years across many different platforms, right? So I have this Excel spreadsheet. Well, it's not Excel, it's a Google Sheets. I'm not that old.
Same thing.
But it's been for so many years now that if I was relying on a 17 hats and then Focal and whatever, I would have lost data from all of those years every time I switched systems.
Right.
So the nice thing about having a spreadsheet system is that you really can, instead of feeling emotional about like, oh, people don't like me, I'm just not that relevant, whatever, the stories that we as creatives tell ourselves.
Sure.
You can be like, I feel like I'm shooting an awful lot and I'm not making like as much money at this time of year as I would like to be making.
Right.
And instead of saying, oh, it's because I'm irrelevant and my business is no longer needed. And let's talk about, you know, my whole family's talking about there's a recession and, oh, that's going to really hit your business hard. And sure, so those things are swirling.
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of me hearing that and being like, well, nothing I can do about that, I go into my tiny little spreadsheet and I look at 2023 and then I look at 2024 and I'm actually not that far off. It's just that the majority of my revenue from families comes in the fall and winter.
Right.
We're not there yet.
No, we're getting there.
August just started and we traveled a fair amount in May this year.
Yeah.
So I look at all those numbers and I'm like, okay, it's a little bit low. Why? Because last year I did like 9 newborn sessions and that's like $15,000 in one little, you know. So should we maybe just have better tracking instead of being so freaking emotional about our money?
Absolutely.
And then is it just so simple as being like, why did I book all of those? Well, first of all, COVID babies. Yeah. Second of all, I was posting a lot more. Yeah. So I was getting more inquiries for them. So anyways, I have a newborn shoot on Saturday.
That's exciting. And you'll be able to hopefully post some images from that and get some more business from that. I'm the same way. I'm booking a lot more commercial work as time goes on, and I'm not posting so much about it because I feel like my Instagram and my socials and my website's geared more towards weddings and portraits.
Yeah.
But the commercial work I'm doing is like popping off in a great way.
That's so good.
I have a commercial website. I don't really promote it. I really should. I keep updating it, but I feel like it just goes to a void, and I just send it to people in kind of a siloed way where it's like, hey, you want to book me? Here's a website you've probably never seen before, but here you go, enjoy. And it's great. So it's one of those things where you have to kind of balance between the work you do for weddings and what that makes you per year versus the other shoots you do, like weddings, families, newborn shoots and commercial work. They're different pots to look into.
It's funny that you say that about your website because mine is opposite. I haven't updated it since like 2020. Like when I made it, I made it in 2020 because I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm not a wedding photographer right now. So I made this branding site and I haven't updated it at all.
Okay.
And I keep on getting inquiries for branding sessions and for commercial work. And I'm like, I don't even understand, first of all, why.
Yeah.
Like I haven't promoted this. I make reels and stuff about them, but my website there is really, really lacking. And then I got a message from somebody on Instagram the other day being like, hey, like I see you posting like commercial work on your Instagram all the time. And I don't see any of it on your website. And I went and looked on my like links on my Instagram links.
Yeah. For your wedding website or your commercial?
My commercial.
Okay.
And I didn't have my commercial. I didn't have lindsaycoultercreative.com linked in my Instagram links at all anywhere.
Okay.
So I'm just doing the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. I'm literally marketing with zero call to action.
Great.
I'm like, go ahead and book me. You should do that. And they're like, we'd certainly love to.
But
how?
This is wrong place to do.
So anyways, maybe now's a good time to do a little audit. Because that's the other thing. If you're wondering why you're not getting any bookings, like look at your funnel from a customer standpoint and be like, okay, I saw they did a reel of this great commercial shoot that they did. I have zero clue. Like, am I supposed to send a carrier pigeon?
You want me
to send you a DM? I don't understand.
Show up at your office? What's the story
A
here?
website's nice.
Yeah, website's great.
Yeah.
It's a little storefront on the internet. Listen, we're not here to talk about business, but we did a really good job. And hopefully that inspired you to try a little bit harder, check out your sales funnel from your client's perspective, and also just enjoy us a little bit more. We don't have any questions today. We do have a hot take Lindsay found on the Reddit website.
I love Reddit.
Our wedding photography.
Reddit is a dumpster fire.
It's a trash bin panda explosion.
But I do like it because
of course you do. You're a human being. It's delightful.
I do like it. I'm actually starting to like Reddit more than I'm going to say it, more than I like Threads now.
Go for it.
Because Threads started out, and if you guys have been listening to this for any period of time, you know I've been obsessed with Threads because it was this nice little spot. It was this nice little window. It's people can just put their own little ideas out there. You can post photos in their original aspect ratio, which I really love.
Yeah.
You can have a little thought that pops into your head, which if you have ADHD is just every 3 seconds, you have a new thing you want to share with somebody. And I used to love that until then it became a place for people to just argue.
Yes.
And we're not like looking for nice advice. It's not like, hey, I'm struggling with this and I need advice. That's what it was before. And then people would be like, okay, cool. Anyways, that's what I think Reddit is.
Okay.
Reddit gives more good advice. People definitely are like, are you stupid? What is it, your first day on the job?
That's everywhere. That's every gosh darn social media site. But no, Reddit's lovely. It's a good spot for finding hot takes and learning about people's stories about especially wedding photography business. Let's jump into this question.
This is from the r/wedding photography, I don't know, Reddit.
Subreddit. Yeah. We'll get into the story and then we'll get into some comments and then we'll get into our take of what we think and feel about this story. So, bride wants money back after divorce. A dear friend of mine, who is also a wedding photographer, reached out to me regarding advice on how to respond to a bride that wants a partial refund because the wedding pictures are no longer relevant since they got divorced. Their wedding was in 2021, so not too long ago. I'm honestly dumbfounded. I don't think I've ever heard anything like this before. Her reasoning is that the images are now useless, so any cost or value associated with them should be refunded and the images deleted. If anything, I feel he should charge to delete the images gallery, and for that fact that he will never get to use these images again, parentheses, portfolio, Instagram, etc., if anything. I was thinking of telling him to respond something similar to this. Quote, I am sorry to hear your situation. However, I must clarify that I am unable to issue a refund. I have fulfilled our agreement by photographing your wedding and delivering the photos to you. Any changes in circumstances after this do not affect the work I provided. As a gesture of goodwill, I will remove your photographs from my social media and portfolio. However, please note that I will retain a copy in my archive. End quote. That's what the person wants his friend to respond with, and then continues and finishes with, but I'd love some input on this. Have you ever encountered a situation like this? What is the best response? I think a refund is ridiculous. Offer a photo shoot for free so she can get her Tinder profile going. I don't know. Wow.
I do like the offer of the Tinder. Yeah. I think that's a funny one.
Just like moving forward, what's next for you? It's probably Tinder. So
what's your next steps here? How do I keep you in the sales funnel?
Exactly.
Tim, tell me your thoughts. What do you think about this?
I mean, I feel like it's I've had couples reach out to me wanting their deposit back because 2020 happened and they booked and they decided they want something different based on the the lockdown circumstances we had and then whatever regulations came through. They're like, oh, we can't have that many people. We want to do a destination or do something else. And I had one couple who was very adamant about getting their deposit back, talking things about like sickness in the family, just a bunch of nonsense. Crazy. I'm sure excuses that felt nonsense to me at the time. It could be legit. Don't know. Probably not though. I ended up just giving it to them because I realized I didn't want to work with this couple anymore. I wanted them to go away, and it was only like $1,500 for like a 6-hour day deposit. So I feel people will try anything to get their money back for something. Like they're just going to try regardless. Someone told them to try at least and see what happens. So it's really like one of those things where if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
And whether or not they're realistic about these claims and wanting to get things back is another story. We don't know how people think and feel, but we have an idea of like, consumerism and what it's taught us. Like if you argue long enough, customer's always right. You can get what you want.
Yeah. The craziest thing is this isn't the first time I've heard this kind of story. I thought that I was rereading a story that somebody was like reposting.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, slow day on Reddit. One of the admins is just like trying to like,
it's Wednesday.
Bring up some hot goss. No, this is another one. This is insane.
Yeah.
Like, as with all things business related, when you're trying to make a decision, the first thing you have to do is try to put yourself in their shoes and figure out why the frick would they be asking this? Divorce
lawyers, probably expensive. Alimony, Tony, whatever's going on there.
She broke.
Yeah.
2021, when they said, oh, that's not that long ago, that's a century ago in wedding photography.
Absolutely.
Sorry, we don't have your money anymore. It's been spent.
Yeah.
Like I'm wearing it currently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not going to rob Peter to pay Paul. It's not happening.
It's not currently happening. So there is no world in which I'm offering a refund. That's that's just for certain, But you have to try to figure out like why.
Yeah.
Why does this person have this audacity to do this?
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's messing with them. I actually don't know. It seems insane.
Well, before we get too deep, let's get into some of the comments that people made about this, just because some of them are interesting and funny, and there's a lot of dog shit out there, but these ones were at least notable, so we thought we'd just jump into these. The first one is from caffeinated_photo. I should mention the original post is from Founus. PHOUNUS.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which also made me think that this is not real, but what do I know?
First comment, caffeinated photo. I would send that reply, but remove the last part at the end about retaining a copy. Keep them by all means, but don't tell her. That's starting an argument. True. And no refund at all. He did the job as he should. That's the end of it. If she threatens legal action, tell her to go on ahead. Nothing will come of it. I've been told 2 of my couples split quite soon after their wedding, but after everything was delivered, I only found out because I posted images on Insta. I was asked, could I take them down? So I did, and that was the end of it. That's one comment. Another comment is, agreed, don't even mention the files, but do take them offline. They hired you to provide a service, not deliver a product. Your service was provided, and after that your transaction was over, you can't take back the service. I doubt they are asking for money from the baker, the caterer, the venue, or the DJ. It's not their fault. Your relationship ended. Photographer doesn't owe anything either.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think if I could really try to understand where she's coming from, she's saying, yes, but I got the value from the cake, the DJ, the caterer. We ate that food. We danced to the music, right? But for the photos, if we're selling a lifelong heirloom and she's like, well, shit, I don't want it.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, honestly.
Yeah.
The only thing that I could see potentially is if you are a photographer who is heavy on the in-person sales and product sales. If there's an outstanding
balance for an album,
or something like that, that is the only world in which I could see this person being rational and saying, hey, like, I don't need this 12 by 12 book that I prepaid for. Yeah. Can you refund that portion
or transfer it to a different future project that we work together on maybe or something?
Hopefully from 2021 to now, you guys have made the album already. But if not, like, hopefully you also had something in your contract saying that the client had to send you selects by 3 to 6 months after the wedding. Photos were delivered or something.
I wonder if this couple, I mean, I know it's 2021, but if it was a different situation where they got divorced before the images were delivered, that'd be something to discover and think about. Because
and I've had that happen.
Okay.
I feel. Did we talk about this before?
We may have, maybe not on the mic, but
I did have this happen that a couple. I didn't hear from them after their wedding. I delivered the photos.
Yeah.
I checked the gallery download activity, and the only person that had downloaded was Jeff Mack, their officiant, and their florist.
Okay.
And like I posted them on social media and everything.
Yeah.
And I found out years later, actually, that really tragically after the groom passed away, that they had broken up before the wedding photos were even delivered, which was 6 weeks.
Wow.
So, or at the very least, things were like off.
Rocky.
But I was like, I heard that he had passed away. I went and looked.
Yeah.
Both of them were in new relationships, which, great for them. But then I was like, oh yeah, I realized that they never actually posted them, which for those of you who, like, I see this happen so often in Facebook forums and stuff where people say, I never heard back from my couple. They must hate their photos. There could be a multitude of reasons why.
Sure.
It's part of the reason why I don't lose sleep over checking to make sure that people are, I will send a couple of messages if I notice that they haven't opened the gallery, because I think there's some due diligence there of like
making sure the email actually got through, or the fact that like maybe, maybe got caught in a spam filter, or they just don't check their email or something, make sure they're actually getting their images.
There's so many ways that could actually get lost. You put a single typo in or whatever, right? Yeah. So I do a couple of checks in. Hey, like I noticed that you didn't do this. And if I see that they've opened it and even downloaded one photo, I'm like, I'm out. I don't like, of course I want to know how you enjoyed them. And if there's any issues, I'd like to hear it. But I do think that this scenario would be different. You might get a dinero or two back from a photographer who hasn't yet edited your photos.
Yeah. They might feel a bit.
If you're like, sick, I can just delete these. I'm out. I probably wouldn't. What would you do?
I would say no.
I'd be like, I did the worst part of the job.
First thing I would do is I would double check the contract to make sure that that's outlined, that I don't owe them anything in case the divorce happens or anything like that. I would make sure that I'm speaking from a point of like, oh, we both agreed on a thing before the day. Let's make sure we all, came to terms with those things before the actual day happens, and I deliver the photos. And then I'd have to customer service the shit out of this because, as you see in a future comment, I don't want a bad review. But let's go into one more comment rather of this post, and then we can get to the meat of what we're trying to get to here, which is customer service. This is from Dazzling Ad 6638. Is the bride going to ask for a refund for the cake, the food, the location of the wedding? Laugh out loud. I feel like such an old person saying that. LOL.
LOL.
Are they going to return all the money and the wedding gifts? I'm curious to how all this would work. Laugh out loud. And then the person commented, honestly, this is pure delusion. Like having your car engine go out and asking the mechanic who installed the tires for your money back.
I hate this next comment. Yeah. I'm plugging my ears.
More like eating the meal and taking a dump and then asking for your money back since you do not need it.
I mean, you did need it.
You did eat it, and you did need it. Yeah. So a little bit unhinged, but also like not wrong. Some of these comments.
Are you going to return all the money that you got from your family and friends? Are you going to send back the toaster to the bay and say, "Oh, we don't need it. We're not together anymore"?
I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that people look at wedding photography as more so like a product at the end of the day. Like it's the only thing they really have aside from their memories from a wedding day is this online gallery or this printed album or these images that hang on the wall. And it's a constant reminder of a thing that they don't want to think about, especially if things go south.
Yeah.
If they go north, being a good thing, they're a great reminder of the day and it's incredible. But if things, take a turn and they don't want to think about that day anymore for whatever reason, they look at us as like a constant reminder of the money that they spent and the time that they spent with a person they no longer are with.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I have had people reach out to me and ask me to take their photos offline.
Yeah.
So that's actually another thing that I'd love to dive into.
Okay.
Is one of the commenters said that, they felt like that they shouldn't even bring up the idea of taking the photos down.
Yeah.
And if they didn't ask for the photos to be taken down, I don't know that I wouldn't be throwing it out there that I'm going to do it.
No.
It depends on how valuable these photos are to you. Like if they're of the venue in your area and this couple is gorgeous.
And it's on the banner of the website of the venue,
you've
or
used
like
them all over the place.
it's print product for a display you're using at a trade show. Like,
what are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, like this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
So actually,
Okay.
to give you an example of this,
Please.
I shot a wedding at a local venue, their very first wedding
Okay.
after their
Rejuvenation?
Sure. They did a renovation. They put up a whole new building.
Okay.
And I shot the very first wedding in this new building.
Yes.
And so I'm not an idiot. I market the shit out of this.
Yeah.
Okay. I put up a blog like within a couple of days. I tag all the vendors. These things get shared like crazy. It ends up getting pinned on Pinterest like crazy. Like it's still one of my top pinned weddings.
Okay.
It was a very like beautiful, thoughtful wedding. The bride and her mom were really involved in like decor, and there were lots of like it was a Pinterest era thing. Like there were a lot of Pinteresty like DIY type things.
Uh-huh.
And I got an email from the groom who we've never ever spoken before.
Okay.
I knew that they had separated. Their website or their photos are actually no longer on my website. I took the blog down once I had heard, because I became close with the bride's mom after the wedding. So I had heard that they separated. So I took the photos off of my blog because I no longer need them. Do you know what I mean? They're not actually doing me any sort of service because they are now dated.
Yep.
They look very much like that era. And I have enough, I have more updated photos in that venue and in that space that I would rather people find when they're doing a Google search over this one, right? Like I don't want them to be finding this one from, I forget, 2015 or something like that.
Sure.
So I have no problem taking them down. But I cannot control where they are on the internet.
No.
Like
You can't scrub the net.
Pinterest is a nightmare, actually. Pinterest is a literal freaking nightmare.
Go on.
So you can't really, once somebody decides to create a pin out of your photo, you can report it for copyright infringement.
But that's it.
Like, so the dress shop could make a pin, and the designer of the dress could make a pin.
Yeah.
The florist could make a pin. Those are all individual pins. I still own the copyright on them.
Yeah.
But basically you have to go through and find those photos all over Pinterest and report them all. So I'm assuming what happened was that the groom has a new girlfriend or partner, and she came across them.
Right.
Someone was doing a deep creep. That's the only way that you're finding these photos. If you're searching the bride and groom's name and the venue, that's the only way that these things are coming up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm assuming maybe it was a girlfriend or somebody being like, why
Hey.
are your wedding photos still all over the internet?
Who's she?
Who is she? No, I assume she probably knew the girl's
Let's hope.
name.
Yeah.
So he sends me an email, and it was far from friendly.
Okay.
Just saying, like, as you well know, these photos, or our wedding, our marriage is over and
Dissolved.
and we would like these photos to be removed.
Okay.
I was at a wedding when I got it. I'm like, oh, flustered.
Can't read this now. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I responded to him and I said, I have already removed the blog. I've removed them from my socials. I will do whatever I can, but I actually don't know where these are. So I'm going to have to do some digging.
Yeah.
I do some digging, and it was in fact pinned from multiple different vendors.
Yep.
The only way for me to get them taken down is by reporting them for copyright infringement, which I don't really feel like doing to vendors that I've worked with. They weren't infringing on my copyright.
Yeah.
I willingly shared those with them, and I told them that they could do whatever they saw fit.
Yep.
And so then I kind of was like, if maybe you shouldn't have signed a model release.
Yeah.
this is actually funny. I feel like this is a thing that I have said to people multiple times during COVID.
Hit it.
If this is your first big contract you've ever signed, maybe it's going to be some lessons, or you're going to learn some lessons here.
Yeah.
Right? For a lot of these couples, unless they've bought a home or, signed a mortgage or whatever, docs together.
Yeah.
Their wedding might be the first time that they're signing a lot of legal documents. And then when things go not to plan,
yes,
whether it be COVID, whether it be a divorce,
yeah,
whether it be, I didn't know that a model release meant you could use photos like that. Maybe this is your first time learning.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't really feel like losing money because you didn't know that ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is it's good learning, good learning lesson.
But customer service wise, that's kind of a shit move.
That's a shit move. Yeah. Let's get to a customer servicey response to this right now. Benny 12B comments on the original post saying, second paragraph isn't needed. I'm going to be honest. I probably wouldn't respond at all to this.
And 54 people voted that one up.
Wow. Our dear lovely friend Sam heard from.
Although I Am the Sam too. What happened to I Am the Sam?
I guess someone took it.
Sam.
Like I Am Sam, like the maybe, I don't know, who knows.
No, he's I Am the Sam.
Is this not him then?
Well, it is him.
Okay.
But I assume something happened to his account.
Sam says, response to that comment. This is all easier if you go on YouTube and watch this video. You can see all the graphics. We put them together in a nice way. So if you're listening in your car, sorry, but not sorry. He says, I totally understand that reaction, but no. It's best to reply absolutely immediately. A negative review can do far more damage than anyone wants to admit. And a bride that's this delusional would likely take that route.
That's true.
I've been held hostage by negative reviews for things I've had no control over, and it's absolutely not worth the trouble. However, you're going to reply to this situation. However you're going to reply to the situation, do it immediately and absolutely do not ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those things you can't really let sit for too long.
I believe. Think?
Well, I would say a week is too long. You would ignore it completely. Okay. Interesting. Tell me your thought process to that.
I would not respond.
Okay.
I bet that this girl was drinking when she sent that email.
Okay.
I bet she was drunk. I'm no person in their right mind is sending this. No person in their right mind is saying, hey, I want $6,000 back because my husband left me.
Right.
And whatever. And we don't even know if her husband left her.
No longer relevant.
She's just saying we don't need the photos and, and we're good here.
Yeah.
So I do sort of prescribe to the idea that...
You can disagree with Sam. It's cool.
No, I definitely do disagree with Sam. Sam and I disagree on things all the time.
It's
like part of our friendship, I
love
think.
it so much.
I feel... And Sam is very good at customer service.
He's great. Yeah.
And you know what? I could be wrong here. However... it doesn't happen often. I would ignore this because I think that if she truly means it, she'll send a follow-up.
Yeah.
And I don't like to lose sleep and waste my time over things that people can't even be bothered to actually truly care about.
Okay.
If you truly care about this, you'll send a follow-up. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
If she truly needs this money or really wants this money, she will send a follow-up. You very easily can say, oh my God, so sorry. I want to take some time to really give this some thought and figure out what I want. You can customer service the shit out of the response if she follows up.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't respond the first time because this is the kind of email that photographers lose sleep over. It's the type of email that people waste a lot of hours of their business trying to figure out, how do I respond, worrying about their answer. Your response is going to potentially continue a conversation that might not continue at all if you ignore it.
True.
So if you come back and you say, hey, in no world am I going to refund you, and you say that second part where you say, and not only am I not going to refund you, I'm also going to keep an archive of your photos because I retain the copyright on all images and I can do whatever the heck I want with it.
Yep.
I know he doesn't actually say that, but that's what it would read as the bride. She's going to get combative.
For sure.
Here, maybe she didn't actually care about this and she was just sort of fucking around and finding out.
Yeah.
But the second you say no to her, now she wants to argue.
Yeah.
Now she's in the mood to fight. Whereas if you just said, sorry, Lindsay can't come to the phone right now.
She's dead.
She's dead.
Yeah.
They're not going to fight with a dead person.
They can't. They could.
I'd be like,
shouldn't.
oh, like, I don't even know who you are. I'm so sorry. Like,
who is this?
No hablo español.
Let's talk about hostage situations that Sam talks about with people holding comments, or not comments, but reviews hostage.
Yeah.
It seems like something we've all kind of dealt with at some point. Sam sounds like he has firsthand knowledge, maybe recently, maybe not so recently, but I'm sure from a customer service standpoint, Sam's probably found a way to iron this out in a meaningful and productive way where everyone gets what they want. Have you ever been held hostage by a review for someone to do something?
One's ever. No,
Okay.
I've never thankfully gotten to the point where somebody said, if you don't do this, I will leave you a negative review.
Yeah.
I have definitely had someone make a veiled threat of it.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, I had a bride sort of very like, she said, I'm really excited to leave you a great review, but I'm just waiting on XYZ from you. Because she insisted that this may be too specific because she's going to know exactly.
Let's not do it.
No, I know. She said she insisted that I replace the sky in a bunch of photos, which I don't really do.
I remember this.
And and I don't know 100% that her saying I'm waiting to leave you a review, but I don't know that was her way of reminding me, by the way, I still haven't left you a review, and it could say whatever I want it to. But that was probably the closest I ever got to somebody saying, hey, this could go badly for you. It worked for her, though. I replaced the damn sky in all those photos. She left me a really nice review.
Well, that's nice.
In her review, she said, it did take Lindsay the full 6 weeks to deliver our photos. I'm like, yeah, what? It's like saying, like, I pumped my gas and it cost the amount that they said it was going to cost.
How could they do that to me?
Isn't that wild? But I was like, whatever. I like to see reviews as either educational in a okay, so if you're a potential client that's coming into the scenario and they want to know something about Tim, I want them to see what the working experience would feel like.
Yeah.
So it's really nice when customers can leave those reviews because we can only tell people what we think it's like to work with us, but we've never worked with us.
We don't have that third-hand experience.
Yeah. We want that sort of proof of concept. These people are like, social proof of like, Tim was fantastic. He did everything he said and more.
Yeah.
So that's really great. On the other side of things, I have stopped caring and fearing a bad review.
Good.
Because I know that if someone was to leave a bad review, it hopefully will come along with receipts that I could be like, I stand by that.
Yeah.
I am not the type of photographer that ghosts my clients and doesn't show up to weddings.
No.
Those are not the kinds of reviews people are leaving me.
You know who you are.
People are not leaving me those reviews.
No,
that would be a bad review that I probably would
have to eat,
not feel good about.
Yeah.
Yep. The kind of review that somebody might leave me would be, during COVID, Lindsay refused to return all of our money. And I would respond and say, yes, you signed a legal document. And now that's exceptional because now anybody that comes to me trying to work with me will know that I'm not kidding. You signed a legal document. We signed it together. We all agreed on this thing.
What happened. Yeah.
So in this scenario, I would respond eventually if she did push it.
Okay.
I would not respond immediately. He says do it immediately and absolutely do not ignore. And well,
you can respond in a way that's not, like you said, like you wanted to give it some time to think about it.
Maybe not some escalation or whatever either.
Maybe don't come to a conclusion immediately. Maybe say, oh my gosh, thank you for letting me know. I had no idea. Let me take some time to think about this. That's a good way to
No, I wouldn't say I'm going to give
that.
No, I'm not going to say that. No. Give me some time to think about it. She's going to think there's a way. She's going to think, there might be an option.
Okay.
No, I would leave it entirely.
Okay.
I would only respond if she follows up. And on the follow-up, I would say, hey, I'm so sorry. I wanted to give this some time to really mull this one over. In the past, I wanted to give this some time to mull it over.
Right.
And now that I've mulled it over, I've come to the conclusion that absolutely not.
Not happening.
So that would be how I would approach this. Take that one or leave that one. That's really specific. But also, it kind of depends on where you're at in your business.
Yeah.
I have 200 5-star reviews. Give me one bad one. I would.
You heard that, folks?
No,
if you're a bride of
please,
Lindsay and
actually,
you want to give her a bad review, go over to Lindsay Culture Photo on Google. I think just type that in the search engine. You'll come up, and then give her a 4.5. What are you looking for?
Tim's
What kind of
looking to
review are you
die
looking
today.
for?
I do have one. I do have one bad review. It's not real though.
Okay.
But I do think bad reviews provide some legitimacy to your business.
Yeah.
As long as you can stand by them and you can either respond in such a way and say, hey, I dropped the ball there. Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I screwed up. Like, take it like you're a restaurant, okay? Because I used to work in the restaurant industry.
Okay.
And people would leave us less than favorable reviews.
Yeah.
Somewhat frequently. Look at what I've done to this hair. I was getting
It's a
freaked
bit-
out.
can-
I was getting
can we
freaked. No,
leave it?
I'm leaving it.
Oh, you
This
want to leave
is
it? All right. Well, let's just cut to your
This is
angle.
the cover.
There you go.
No, put it on the full one. I look better in the full one. This
Okay,
is
we'll
even
go to
better.
the wide shot.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a lot
That's quite the-
of
quite the part.
energy going on
Yeah.
in here, everybody on the tube. You can't bring it back down now.
Restaurant.
Now it's just big. I worked in the restaurant industry, and people would send us reviews fairly often.
Okay.
And I was often the person to respond to it because I was doing the socials for a while.
Yeah.
And essentially, what you want to do is you want to diffuse it and take it offline as quickly as possible.
Right.
However, you do want to prove for anybody reading the review that you're not just saying, you don't want to take this conversation offline immediately, because that just looks like you're trying to make this
sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, make this not such
Yeah.
a public affair.
Sure,
right?
sure.
So say somebody comes in and they're like, they've got a laundry list of complaints.
Okay.
And some of them are things that you can actually like say, yeah, we screwed up.
Yeah.
We did screw up. So, I came in on a Friday night for my reservation. They were slammed and they didn't get us in for our reservation for a half an hour.
Right.
Then once our server came over, they forgot to bring half of our drinks right away.
No bread, no butter.
Food was not great.
Yeah.
Overall experience was not exceptional.
Got it.
What I would come back with is, wow, thank you so much for choosing us. It was really a huge honor that you guys would
Spend your evening with us.
your evening with us
Yeah.
and give us a shot. I can't tell you how sad I am to hear that we missed the mark and we did not meet your expectations, because that's awful. And then maybe get into some actual explanations. Friday night, we were so slammed and we very much did not do our best job at managing the reservation book.
Yeah.
And we overbooked ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple of groups that stayed longer than expected.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a perfect storm for a bad situation. And then you say, we would love to make it up to you. Can you send an email to me here and I'm going to make this up to you?
Yeah.
Guaranteed that person is either going to remove their review or they're going to leave another one saying, hey, we came back for a second time. We were treated like royalty. We love this place.
Yeah.
We're in now. We're 100%, because that's usually what happened whenever we would have. And I feel like that situation happened dozens of times because I was opening like a brand new restaurant. So we screwed things up all the time.
It's going to happen for the first
right?
couple
We
of
were
weeks,
trying
months,
to figure things
for
out.
sure.
That same methodology carries over in every single service
So
industry.
let's transplant that to the situation here with the bride.
If the bride leaves a review, what's she going to say?
They were unwilling to take down the photos. Maybe
They're going to review the
look,
entire thing.
They're going
to review the entire experience of working with
for
you.
sure. And they're gonna make it in a way where it doesn't seem like they're the crazy person for wanting a refund for delivered photos.
For sure.
This is seeping into like sepia bride kind of territory with like people leaving reviews online and like leaving on half the story and loving some of it but not all of it. Therefore, it's a negative review. Interesting. I'm wondering. Yeah, what would that review look like? That would be.
Here's what I imagine the review looks like. I'm gonna give you this review.
Yes.
This girl's name is Jessica.
Jessica.
Okay. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
It's Jessica.
Jessica.
No, this is not the email. Okay, sorry. I'm sending you the email.
Sounds like a DM.
Okay, so the review is going to go something like this. I worked with such and such. I don't want it to be either of us.
Okay,
you guys, the hair is going crazy today. Sorry if you're just listening to this while the chaos. The review is going to go something like this. I hired so-and-so to shoot my wedding in 2021. We did our engagement photos and we were quite happy with them and all was well there. They delivered them on time and everything was great. When the wedding came around, we didn't hear from them very regularly. We were felt neglected, and we felt that they didn't have our best interests in mind, and they were really hard to get a hold of. We were struggling to get a schedule done. After the wedding, they delivered the photos late. They delivered the photos at 3 months instead of 2 months. And my husband and I were really struggling at that time, and we were really sad after our wedding because we wanted to see our photos and we could not get a hold of this photographer. And now, a few years later, we have separated, and we have never used these wedding photos because they delivered them so late.
Yep.
And we have no need for these photos because when we needed them, they weren't available.
Oh, wow.
And
masterclass
now
crafting a shitty.
I have asked them for a refund because we
have
no value in these photos, and we would like the photos to be removed. They have declined to delete the photos entirely. They did offer to take them off socials, but they will not delete the photos entirely. I would not work with this vendor.
Nothing was a refund.
And no, I said, and they didn't give us a refund. That was what I said before. Did I not? In my mind, I did. I asked them for my money back, and they're not giving it back, you know. And then they said, and I would not work with this vendor again because they didn't provide the service that we hired them for, and the value that they said that they would offer was not there.
How many stars?
2 stars.
2. I would say 2.5.
This person's
half
pissed.
star is such
this
a petty.
Is
it? Okay.
Half star? Can you do a half star?
I don't think
Google?
you can on Google. No.
So.
Wow.
Goddamn! If somebody did that to me, I'd be feeling it for sure.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Can you tell that I leave reviews for people?
Could you? Would you be able to take?
I only leave good reviews, to be fair, unless they're a literal criminal.
Go back to restaurant Lindsay managing people who had a.
So this is how experience. I want photographers to treat their businesses.
Okay.
Have an out-of-body experience. Treat it like you're the general manager of your business and not like it's yours.
Yes.
Not like you're the person that showed up on Saturday. You stayed the extra hour. You went above and beyond.
Yeah.
No. You're the GM trying to get this damn review removed. Or you're the GM who's like, fine, teachable experience. We don't want people like her in our restaurant anyways.
Yeah.
Those are your 2 options.
So if that's the review, the one you just left.
Yeah.
How would you go about responding to that?
The first thing I would do, honestly, I would email them separately before even responding to it, because I think that there are enough things in there that you want to address. But if you address those things in a review response, it's going to seem combative and like an argument.
It's going to start a whole thing.
Really argumentative.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want in a review response is to seem argumentative. You can back yourself up. You can say, hey, we really feel like we actually did deliver on our promises, and we're sorry to hear that you didn't feel that way.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But like, you don't really want to start providing receipts unless you have had a conversation on email or on the phone or whatever.
You can back up.
So I would send her an email saying, hey, obviously we were not able to come to an agreement before, but do you think that we could have a call?
Yeah.
Let's have a phone call because this is going to get diffused much faster.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, then you come in and you literally respond to the review saying, hi, we're so sorry that you did not have a fantastic experience with us. We really loved your wedding. We really loved shooting it. We had a blast.
Photos. Yeah.
We had so much fun with you
Your
and your
images
partner.
were portfolio perfect.
Yes.
Like they were ready.
And we are so sad to hear about the separation of you and your husband. With that being said, we feel that we delivered on our promises. We were within our contracted time.
Yeah.
Although we definitely hope to get things out sooner than that. We were within the contracted time for our delivery.
Yep.
You can just skim right on over they weren't responsive, whatever, right? Because
that's opinion.
How are you going to argue that?
And
you're going to lose.
Yeah.
So you would skim right over that, and then you get to the meat and potatoes of you're asking for a refund. So you say, contractually speaking, we have fulfilled a contract that we were hired for.
Yeah.
You can even take a screenshot of your contract where it shows what you were hired for and what you delivered and say, so, unfortunately, we weren't able to offer you a refund because the job that we were hired for was fulfilled to the best of our abilities.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's nothing really that we can offer you as far as that goes. And then you have to, sandwich it with some level of like compassion and whatever. So then you say, we would of course love to work with you again in the future. If you'd like to do another family session or something, we would love to chat with you again. Here's my information.
Yeah.
Please reach out. Maybe you offer them a free family shoot.
Maybe you get 2 more weddings out of this session. Who knows?
Maybe you're getting 2 more weddings out of this.
The important thing is, I think that Lindsay is touching on, is that you're crafting this response in a way that it's not just a response for the bride and groom or the couple who's no longer married or like the new, partners in those 2 relationships. It's crafted in a way that people reading this response will look at it and say, oh, Lindsay or whoever photographed this wedding is handling this in a professional manner. I can see why this couple is maybe a bit more out to lunch than Lindsay's services are, outlined by this couple. Like, you want to make sure that it's worded in a way that is respectful, responsible, and, defends yourself in a way that's not like just double birds to the sky. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that it's performative a tiny bit.
I've seen business owners ruin themselves in their reviews because their response was worse than the review. Yeah. The review could have been left up for...
Oh, I've seen that countless times on Airbnb stuff.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And then the guy comes back and it's like, and it's always a guy. It's always a guy coming back.
They were disrespectful. They smoked cigarettes and put them out on the cat. Yeah, like it's nonsense.
Do you know my favorite one? Is, if you guys look, so I leave a lot of Google reviews for restaurants.
I'm going to look it up right now. Talk.
And they're always nice. Okay. Like, I always leave nice reviews for people. Yes. It would be under... like probably Lindsay Coulter. I think I'd have to be logged in.
Oh, to see the review?
To see my, do you know what I mean? Because I left a review for another person, so I don't think you're going to see my reviews, right? Here, you can probably see them under my Google Maps. Okay. Under my contributions. Okay. Because I am a local guide, Tim.
Yeah, of course. You're level what, 6 now? 7?
Relax.
Relax.
So I always leave really kind reviews. I often will leave reviews because it's for places that I want to remember. Okay. To go back to or whatever. Right. And also, the more that you leave reviews for people, the higher your Google listing will rank, which is really nice.
More trusted by the Googleverse.
Yeah, I wish that Google made it easier for us to do that.
Well, okay, here we go.
I am a level 5. Ooh. So, guys, I have almost 1 million views on my reviews that I've left for people. So people are liking Lindsay Coulter Photography's reviews. 963,000 contribution views. So I left a review for this Irish pub, which I love an Irish pub. But this Irish pub in Collingwood, you were there.
I was present.
And the experience was so bad. Awful. So bad. Yeah. It's in the Blue Mountain Village. So it's like a tourist area. It's right by the condo that we have. And we've been so many times, and every time I go, it's the exact same shitty experience. The servers truly don't care about being there. It's like they are mad at you for coming.
It's like every day is their first and last day.
They're hoping to be fired at any moment, and you're like, I wish that you would be fired. Mm-hmm. So, I can't find it. That's so upsetting. I left a review saying, I have been here a dozen times. Yeah. And every time I come back here, I question why I've come back. Yeah. I said, if you're looking for a standard Irish pub with servers that are uninterested in being there, and I'm talking like literally standing at the bar 12 feet from you on their phone, and when you say, hey, sorry, can I get something? They're like, oh. Yeah. They served us our food in the restaurant in takeout containers.
It did.
And it was cold.
It's like they were saving time or something. They're like, oh, they're just going to leave anyway.
They're going to leave anyways. No, it was because their kitchen was closed. They neglected to tell us that. So they were using the kitchen at a restaurant down the road and bringing it to us.
Through the winter.
So the food was freezing because it was in the winter. Yeah. And so if your food came wrong, which mine did, you're not going to want to deal with that again because you're like, cool, I don't want
cold food,
another 20-minute cold food situation. Well, it's much longer than that. So I leave this review, and I actually didn't even leave a really low star review because I know that the stars are really what kill a business. Yeah. But I wanted to leave some sort of feedback because what if this owner is totally out to lunch and they're unaware? Yeah. At this point, I hadn't read any of the other review responses. Okay. So I left, and I want to say it was like a 4-star review. It was just enough to be like, probably don't come here, but maybe do. If you're just looking for a beer and nothing else, then this might be your spot, and that's okay. But like, definitely don't bring your family here. It would be really sad if you came and you spent all this money.
Yeah.
The man responds and is like, just a standard Irish pub, eh? If you're saying that 200 types of whiskey and actual Irish servers and blah, 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 if that's a standard Irish pub, then you're right. We are just a standard Irish pub. And he's like, people like just went off. People like you, blah, 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 blah.
All the accolades of the pub that exists in Blue Mountain.
I was like, oh, well... So I changed my review to what I honestly wanted it to be, which was a 2. Because I was like, well, okay, let's go then. You've just made this so stupid for yourself. And that review of mine has been liked like 100 times because people are like, okay, yeah, that's the exact experience I've had.
No notes.
And I responded, and I responded to his response, and I said, well, it's good to know that the energy that we're receiving from the servers actually does come from the top. So that's perfect. Yeah. Like, it's exactly
what you hired them for.
What you've hired them to do, which is to not give a single shit about their customers because you don't give a single shit about your customers. So it's actually perfect.
Yikes.
So we've never been back because like, obviously nightmare, but his comments back to people are like this all over the place.
Yeah.
So if you were a potential customer and you're looking at one Irish pub to the other, you're probably going to go to the one where the guy, you don't think he's going to pick a fight with you when you walk in the door.
Bingo. So yeah, it's a good lesson.
It's just there are options for reviews to just like, really hurt your business for sure. There are also ways for even a negative review to help your business, for you to show what kind of client you're hoping to get. And if your ego gets in the way, like the guy at the Irish pub, well,
maybe you check it. Maybe you see a therapist.
It's not going to go so well.
No.
It's going to make a somewhat okay review turn real south real fast.
Lindsay, we did it.
Did we ever?
We podcasted.
This was a really fun episode.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
I love a businessy question.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Outside of settings on a camera, which is not what this podcast is about. If you haven't really realized, we're not talking about settings here. Thank you so much for being here, liking, commenting, subscribing, doing all the things so we show up for you. If you have a question, a hot take, a DM you want to leave for us to react to answer the question of, go to the Shoot Your Shot podcast on Instagram. I'm going to put a little banner up here. And you can leave us a review. You can be anonymous. You can be forthright with your identity. Whatever you like, let us know and we'll react to it here on the pod. So see you next week, I guess.
See you next week, my friends.
Goodbye.
Bye.